I sit in the shadows near the service entrance, watching my brother bask in adoration. The Waldorf Astoria ballroom glows with crystal chandeliers that cast diamond patterns across the marble floor, illuminating everyone but me. A banner spans the wall behind the stage, celebrating excellence in leadership, Dr. Nathan Rivera. My parents hover at Nathan's elbow, introducing him to Chicago's medical elite as the heart of this family. My navy dress, $195 from a department store sale, feels suddenly inadequate among the designer gowns that swirl around me like exotic birds. I slide my fingers along the simple fabric, remembering the moment I decided this would be good enough for tonight. Just like I am always good enough but never exceptional, in their eyes. "Oh, you're the accountant one, right? Still doing taxes or whatever?" I look up to see my father's cousin Melinda peering down at me, her martini sloshing dangerously close to my shoulder. Her tone suggests she's doing me a favor by remembering I exist. "I'm a CFO, actually," I say, but she's already scanning the room for someone more important. My knuckles turn white around my water glass as I force a polite smile. Across the room, my mother glides between tables, her emerald necklace catching the light with every turn of her head. I recognize it instantly, the Cartier piece from their last hardship withdrawal, $12,400, to be precise. I remember signing the wire transfer approval. She walks right past my table without a glance, as if I'm just another stranger at her son's celebration. I watch my father place his hand on Nathan's shoulder, both of them laughing with the hospital board chairman. Nathan stands tall in his custom tuxedo, every inch the successful doctor. At 40, his salt and pepper temples only add to his cultivated image of medical gravitas. They make the perfect tableau of family pride: father, mother, successful son. The daughter sits by the kitchen doors. My mind drifts back to the day I stood in our family kitchen. 3 college acceptance letters spread before me. Johns Hopkins, Stanford, Yale, all offering full rides to medical school. "This is your chance," my father had said, his eyes bright with a pride I craved. "You could be something special." But 2 weeks later, I told them I'd chosen finance instead. "A waste of intellect," my father pronounced, turning away as if I'd personally disappointed him. My mother had simply sighed, then asked if I'd called Nathan to congratulate him on his residency match. It didn't matter that I graduated with honors from an Ivy League school, or that I became the youngest director at my firm by 26, or that I bought my first condo with my own money while Nathan was still asking our parents for rent. What mattered was that 7 years ago, when their restaurant venture collapsed under $240,000 of debt, I stepped in. My first wire transfer, $4,500, with a note that read, "To help until you're back on your feet." 7 years later, those transfers continue monthly. 7 years of providing support while accepting invisibility as payment. "Dr. Rivera," the hospital CEO booms, clapping Nathan on the back. "That substantial grant your department secured will revolutionize pediatric care in Chicago." Nathan's smile is smooth as butter as he accepts the praise. Just doing what needs to be done for the patients who need it most. My phone buzzes in my clutch. I slip it out, seeing a text from my assistant Amber. "Decision needed on $600,000, hospital funding, Street Catherine's Medical Center, submitted by Dr. Nathan Rivera." My throat tightens. I look up at my brother, now accepting handshakes and backslaps for his department's miraculous win funding that's sitting in my pending approvals queue, waiting for my signature. All these years, I've told myself that family means supporting each other without keeping score, that my contributions matter even if they're never acknowledged, that one day, they'll see me. But watching Nathan bask in praise for my money while I sit alone by the service doors, something shifts inside me. It's not just about the money. It's about being erased from my own family narrative. It's about the quiet violence of invisibility. The CEO raises his glass, his voice carrying across the ballroom. "To Dr. Nathan Rivera, whose dedication to this hospital is matched only by his dedication to family." The room erupts in applause. My mother wipes a tear. My father stands taller, and something inside me finally breaks free. Enough. I set my water glass down with a decisive click. My fingers move across my phone screen, typing a response to Amber. "Hold the transfer. I'll handle this personally." For the first time tonight, I feel myself becoming visible. Not because they see me, but because I finally see myself. I slip away from the dining table during the 3rd course, my excuse about a work call earning nothing more than my mother's slight frown. The hallway outside the ballroom offers blessed quiet after the cacophony of laughter and clinking glasses celebrating Nathan's greatness. My hands tremble as I dial the bank. Not my regular branch, the private one that handles my family's accounts. The one where I'm listed as an authorized manager despite my status as just an accountant in my family's eyes. Miss Rivera, how may I assist you this evening? The banker's voice is smooth, professional, recognizing my name instantly. I need complete transaction records for my parents' joint account. 7 years of history. Now. My voice sounds foreign to my ears, commanding, direct. Of course. One moment while I access those records. While waiting, I lean against the wall, my reflection fractured in a decorative mirror. Navy dress, simple pearl earrings, invisible daughter. The woman who signs the checks but never receives the credit. My phone pings with incoming files. I open them, starting with recent transactions, scanning backward through time. The pattern emerges immediately. Every month, my $4,500 deposit arrives. 2 days later, an automatic transfer of $3,800 leaves for an investment account I don't recognize. The name on the receiving end, Nathan Rivera Portfolio Management. I do the math quickly. $3,800 multiplied by 84 months. $319,200. Plus the additional emergency funds I've provided over the years. Total diverted, $378,000. The hallway suddenly feels too warm, too narrow. I continue scrolling, following the money trail into Nathan's portfolio. The records tell a story of catastrophic financial decisions, $85,000 lost on crypto investments that tanked, $75,000 to what appears to be gambling debt repayments, $60,000 in luxury car leases. My brother hasn't been supporting our parents. He's been bleeding them dry, bleeding me dry. And worse, he's been telling everyone he's their financial savior. Is there anything else you need, Miss Rivera? The banker's voice startles me back to the present. No, that's everything. I end the call, clutching my phone like a lifeline. From the ballroom, I hear my father's voice booming through the microphone. I move closer to the doorway, remaining in shadow. Our son has sacrificed everything to care for us and his patients, he proclaims, his voice thick with emotion. When our business failed, Nathan stepped up. He said, "Dad, I've got this." That's the kind of man he is. The room erupts in applause. I press my hand against the wall to steady myself, nausea rising in my throat. I return to my table, just as dessert arrives, something chocolate and elaborate that I'll never taste. My appetite vanished somewhere between the bank records and my father's speech. Chelsea? A woman approaches my table, extending her hand. Mia Wilson. We met at the Chicago Financial Leadership Conference last spring. I shake her hand automatically, struggling to place her. Hospital board, she clarifies, gesturing to her name tag. Your presentation on ethical fund management was brilliant. Thank you, I manage, wondering why she's seeking me out now. I noticed you reacting when Thomas Gardner mentioned the department funding. Her eyes are sharp, assessing. Is everything all right? Before I can answer, my phone buzzes again. Amber, sending the complete funding documentation for Street. Catherine's the grant application with Nathan's signature. The approval forms awaiting mine. The press release draft crediting him exclusively. Chelsea? Mia prompts when I don't respond. Across the room, I spot Thomas Gardner watching us, his brow furrowed slightly. And beyond him, my childhood friend Lisa Reynolds making her way toward me, concern written across her face. Actually, no, I say finally. Everything is not all right. I make a decision in that moment, one that will change everything. I turn my phone toward Mia, showing her my credentials on the Greymont Capital portal. I'm not just an accountant, I say quietly. I'm Chelsea Rivera, Chief Financial Officer of Greymont Capital Partners. Her eyes widen as she processes the information, looking from my credentials to the funding documents below them. You're not just an accountant, you're Chelsea Rivera of Greymont Capital? Shock colors her voice, but that would mean... It means my brother's entire professional reputation is built on my financial backing. I continue, my voice surprisingly steady. It means my parents' security depends on money they don't know I provide. It means this hospital's ethics standards are potentially compromised. After I scroll through the bank records, showing her the evidence of Nathan's transfers. $378,000. I say, that's how much I've given my family over 7 years. Money they believe comes from Nathan. Money he's diverted for personal use. Mia's expression shifts from shock to strategic calculation. The board needs to know about this, she says finally. From the stage, the MC announces the conclusion of dinner and the beginning of the awards ceremony. Nathan stands, adjusting his bow tie, ready for his moment of glory. Yes, I agree, squaring my shoulders. They certainly do. I feel my cover the comfortable anonymity of being just an accountant, slipping away, but with it goes something else, the crushing weight of invisibility I've carried for decades. As I walk with Mia toward the board members' table, I feel eyes following me, my mother's confused gaze, my father's dismissive glance, Nathan's sudden, sharp attention. For the first time in my life, I am becoming visible in my family's eyes, and I'm not sure any of us is ready for what that means. Nathan takes the stage with practiced grace, his smile radiating the effortless confidence of a man who's never questioned his place in the spotlight. The audience rises in a wave of adoration. I stand before you humbled by this recognition, he says, voice carrying through the ballroom. First, I must thank my generous parents who sacrificed everything to make my journey possible. My parents rise from their seats at the front table. Mom dabs at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief while Dad's chest puffs with pride. The perfect picture of parental devotion. And of course, Nathan continues, my financial advisors who guided me through the grant application process. Their expertise has been invaluable. I grip the stem of my wine glass so tightly I fear it might snap. Financial advisors? That's what he calls the money I've funneled to our parents for 7 years? Dad leans toward the hospital administrator seated beside him, voice carrying just far enough to reach my table. Our son takes after me good with people. Chelsea takes after her mother's cousin good with calculators. The relatives at his table nod and laugh appreciatively. The familiar sting of dismissal burns through me, but something different follows, not the usual shame, but a slow-building heat. Under the tablecloth, I open the Graymont Capital Portfolio app on my phone. The dashboard loads. $14 billion under management. My eyes drift to the personal wealth tracker in the corner. $8.7 million. Not that my family would know or care. I scroll through my transaction history to the neat row of monthly transfers. $4,500 on the 3rd of every month for 7 years. Money that apparently flows invisibly from my accounts directly into Nathan's reputation. My phone buzzes with a text from Thomas Gardner. Funding committee needs your signature by midnight. Are we proceeding with Dr. Rivera's grant request? The irony nearly makes me laugh. I control billions in investment capital daily, make decisions that affect thousands of jobs, yet sit relegated to the kitchen-adjacent table at my brother's celebration, invisible, except when convenient. The heat inside me stabilizes into something steadier, colder. Professional calm replaces emotional hurt as I consider my options with the same analytical precision I apply to acquisition targets. Mom approaches during dessert, champagne flute in hand. You could try smiling, Chelsea. This is your brother's night. Who paid for your necklace, Mom? The question slides out before I can stop it. She touches the emeralds at her throat, her laugh dismissive. Nathan, of course. He takes care of us. What if I told you that's not possible? My voice remains measured, controlled. Mom's smile tightens. Don't start with your jealousy tonight. It's unbecoming. She walks away before I can respond, heels clicking against marble. The chair beside me scrapes back. Lisa slides into it, eyebrows raised. You look like you're about to explode. What's happening? See for yourself. I turn my phone toward her, displaying 7 years of transfers. Lisa's eyes widen as she scrolls. $4,500. Every month for 7 years? That's $378,000. I finish. And they think Nathan's been supporting them? I nod once. This has gone on long enough, Lisa says, jaw tight. What are you going to do? My phone lights up with another text from Amber. Decision time on funding. What's the call? I glance up and notice several hospital board members watching me with new interest. Thomas Gardner catches my eye from across the room, his expression questioning. I'm going to tell the truth, I say. The MC taps the microphone. And now, we've reserved time for family acknowledgements. Would anyone like to share? Before I can second-guess myself, I stand and raise my hand. The spotlight swings toward me, momentarily blinding. Nathan's confused expression comes into focus as I approach the stage. "I'd like to clarify something about family support," I say into the microphone, my voice steadier than I expected. Mom appears at my elbow, fingers digging into my arm. "Chelsea, what are you doing?" I stand firm. "For 7 years, I've been sending $4,500 monthly to our parents." A murmur ripples through the audience. I hold up my phone, bank statements displayed on the screen. I've sent $378,000 total while being treated as less than. My voice gains strength with each word. Meanwhile, Nathan has been rerouting that money into his own accounts while claiming credit for supporting our parents. Nathan's face drains of color. Mom's fingers slip from my arm as she stumbles back. I've discovered that my brother has diverted these funds to cover his gambling losses and failed crypto investments, while I continued to be treated as an afterthought. The ballroom falls silent. Dad rises halfway from his chair, then sinks back down. I've spent my life being diminished, watching my achievements dismissed while Nathan's were celebrated. Tears threaten, but clarity burns them away. I've been invisible long enough. With hands that don't shake, I forward the transfer records to Thomas Gardner. I see him open the email, his eyebrows shooting up as he scrolls through the documentation. Hospital board members cluster together, leaning close in urgent conversation. Nathan pushes through the crowd toward the stage. "This is just an emotional outburst," he says loudly. "My sister has always been jealous of my success." "Is that why you lost $75,000 gambling with money I provided?" I ask, voice cool. "Or why you dumped $85,000 into crypto that's now worthless? I have documentation of every transfer and withdrawal. $220,000 squandered from what was meant for our parents." Nathan lunges for the microphone. I step aside, letting him grab it. "I need to reveal one final truth," I say before he can speak. I'm not just an accountant. I nod to Thomas Gardner, who taps his tablet. The ballroom screens light up with my professional credentials. Gasps ripple through the crowd as Chief Financial Officer, Graymont Capital Partners appears in bold letters. "She's lying," Nathan shouts into the microphone, voice cracking. I take a step forward, reclaiming my space. "The $600,000 grant your department is expecting requires my signature as part of the funding committee." I meet his eyes directly. A signature I have not yet provided. The room falls into stunned silence. Nathan's mouth opens and closes without sound. Mom sinks into a chair, staring at Dad with dawning horror. Board members whisper urgently to each other. For the first time in my life, I stand in the center of my family's attention, not because I've made myself useful, but because I've made myself seen. I step to the microphone, my heart pounding against my ribs like it wants to escape. The spotlight feels hot and foreign on my skin after years in the shadows. Behind me, I can hear my mother's sharp intake of breath, the rustle of her designer dress as she shifts uncomfortably. "The grant application for Street Catherine's Medical Center," I say, my voice surprisingly steady, "has been denied." A collective gasp ripples through the ballroom. Nathan's face contorts, his carefully constructed persona cracking at the edges. "Instead," I continue, "Graymont Capital will redirect those funds, all $600,000, to establish the Graymont Accounting Leadership Scholarship, specifically designed for underprivileged finance students who have been consistently undervalued." Thomas Gardner steps forward, his gray eyebrows raised in surprise but his eyes glittering with understanding. "Miss Rivera does indeed have the authority to make this decision," he confirms, nodding to the board members who are already pulling out smartphones to verify my identity. As the Chief Financial Officer of Graymont Capital, her signature is required on all major funding approvals. The screens around the ballroom, previously displaying Nathan's accomplishments, now show my professional credentials. The silence is delicious and terrifying all at once. "This is ridiculous," Nathan sputters, lunging toward a second microphone. His perfect hair has fallen across his forehead, sweat beading at his temples. "She's fabricating all of this out of jealousy. Chelsea has always tried to steal my spotlight." My father pushes through the crowd, his face flushed dark red against his white collar. "Chelsea, stop this embarrassing display immediately," he demands. But his voice lacks its usual authority. The room is watching me now, not him. "I'll sue you for defamation," Nathan hisses, his doctor's composure evaporating like morning dew. "Professional interference." Character assassination. His voice rises with each accusation. She's always been unstable, jealous of medical success. Ask anyone who knows us. I'm the one who supported our parents. I don't flinch. 7 years of invisibility have prepared me for this moment. I straighten my shoulders and feel myself transforming from the overlooked sister into the CFO who manages billions. Board members, I say calmly, addressing the hospital leadership directly. I've documented every transfer. The financial records are available through a secure portal my team has just created. I nod to where Amber stands near the entrance, tablet in hand, already distributing access codes to key personnel. You'll find evidence of my brother's pattern of financial exploitation dating back 7 years. Nathan storms toward me, finger pointed like a weapon. 2 security guards step forward, intercepting him before he reaches the stage. This isn't about punishment, I explain, my voice carrying through the silent room. It's about truth. My father tries a different approach, his salesman's smile appearing like a reflex. Chelsea has always been good with numbers, but she's misinterpreting some family arrangements. We can discuss this privately. His words die as my mother gasps, staring at her phone. Robert, she whispers, loud enough for those nearby to hear. There's only $700 in our account. The whispers start immediately, rippling through Nathan's supporters. I watch doubt replace certainty in their eyes. Hospital donors huddle together, exchanging concerned glances about the ethics of the funding process. Lisa steps forward from a nearby table. I've known Chelsea since we were children, she announces clearly. She's the most honest person I know. Mia Wilson, elegant in her emerald gown, joins her. Miss Rivera's professional reputation in the financial community is beyond reproach. I can personally attest to that. Street. Catherine's will launch an immediate ethics investigation, Thomas Gardner declares, his authority silencing the murmurs. We take these allegations extremely seriously. I'm no longer alone in the spotlight. Around me, colleagues and childhood friends form a protective circle. For the first time, I feel the warmth of professional recognition washing over me, replacing the cold shadow of family dismissal. A security guard firmly guides Nathan away from the microphone despite his protests. The hospital board members huddle together, then disappear into a side room for an emergency meeting. My parents stand abandoned in the center of the room as guests step away from them, creating an island of isolation. Across the room, I notice Nathan's wife, Catherine, slip her ring into her small black purse, her eyes fixed on the exit. Nathan's composure finally shatters completely. "This is insane," he shouts, struggling against the security guard's grip. "You're all believing her over me, after everything I've done?" My father tries to approach me, but another security guard blocks his path with a polite but firm hand. "Sir, we need to maintain order." My mother sinks into a chair, her perfectly manicured hand covering her mouth. "What have we done?" she whispers, her eyes finding mine across the room. The question seems genuine, stripped of her usual performance. Nathan turns on our parents, his face twisted with rage. "This is your fault," he spits. "You always made me feel I had to be perfect. Nothing was ever enough for you." I watch the 3 of them, father, mother, brother, their unity fracturing under the weight of exposed lies. The family facade crumbles before my eyes, revealing the broken relationships beneath. For a moment, I feel a pang of regret. Then I remember the 7 years of invisibility, the constant dismissal, the $378,000 that bought me nothing but contempt. Thomas Gardner approaches, extending his hand. "Miss Rivera, the board would appreciate your insight during our deliberations." As I walk toward the side room, heads turn to follow my progress. No longer the sister in the shadows, I move with the authority of someone who has finally stepped into her power not by diminishing others, but by refusing to be diminished. The truth, I think as the boardroom door opens before me, feels a lot like freedom. I brace myself as Nathan approaches, his face a careful mask of wounded dignity, now that the crowd has thinned. Gone is the arrogance that carried him through years of taking credit for my money. In its place, something more dangerous, calculated vulnerability. "You've ruined me," he whispers, voice cracking just enough. "Are you happy now?" His performance would be impressive if I hadn't spent a lifetime studying it. The slight tremble in his hand as he runs it through his salt and pepper hair. The way his shoulders curve inward, making him smaller. The practiced catch in his throat, Mother hurries over, her emerald necklace, my emerald necklace, catching the light. "Chelsea, please," she hisses, grabbing my wrist. "This should have stayed in the family." I resist the urge to laugh. Family. The word sounds hollow after years of invisible support. "We can discuss financial arrangements privately," Father adds, his voice low and urgent. His eyes dart around the ballroom, tracking the hospital board members huddled in the corner. "There's no need for all this. Public spectacle." Nathan leans in, his cologne suffocating. "My career is over if this gets out. Do you understand that?" When that doesn't elicit the desired reaction, he plays his final card. "We're still family." The words hang between us like a threat. Thomas Gardner approaches, his face grim. "Miss Rivera, the Ethics Committee is convening in Conference Room B. Your presence is requested." Nathan blanches. "There's no need for that. This is a simple misunderstanding." "The misappropriation of $600,000 is hardly simple," Thomas replies, not bothering to lower his voice. Mother crumples into a nearby chair. "The house," she whispers. "What happens to the house?" The weight of it crashes down. Without my money, my parents face foreclosure. 7 years of monthly payments, suddenly vanished. Relatives cluster in opposing camps across the ballroom, some whispering support for Nathan, others looking at me with new respect. Nathan's reputation unravels in real time. A hospital administrator walks past, deliberately avoiding eye contact with him. I move toward the door, Thomas's invitation hanging in the air. The corridor stretches before me, Conference Room B at the far end, my steps slow as I approach. A lifetime of conditioning floods back. Family sticks together, family protects its own, family keeps secrets. My hand hovers over the door handle. What if I walk away? Recant my accusations? Tell them it was all a misunderstanding? I could keep sending money, keep being invisible, keep the peace. The weight of responsibility for my parents' security presses down. Am I really prepared to be the reason they lose everything? My hand trembles above the handle. Then memory flashes hit like lightning. Every dismissed accomplishment. The Ivy League honors my father called nice paperwork. The director promotion my mother forgot to mention at Sunday dinner. The condo I bought that they never visited because it was too far from Nathan's place. I see Nathan's smirk when the hospital CEO praised him for securing funds that came from my signature. I remember the exact figure, $378,000 over 7 years. Money that bought me nothing but contempt. Something shifts. The invisible weight I've carried since childhood, the need for their approval suddenly feels optional. I take a deep breath. My shoulders straighten. My hand stops trembling. I open the door. The ethics committee members look up as I enter. 7 faces, solemn and expectant. I recognize Mia Wilson, the only one who offers a small nod of encouragement. "Miss Rivera," the committee chair begins. "We appreciate your willingness to address this sensitive matter." I place my laptop on the table and open a folder marked Rivera Family Financials. Not a hastily assembled collection of grievances, but 7 years of meticulously documented transfers. I've prepared a comprehensive overview of the financial irregularities involving Dr. Nathan Rivera, I say, my voice calm and professional. No vindictiveness, no emotion, just facts. For 30 minutes, I walk them through the evidence. The initial transfers to help my parents after their restaurant failed, the monthly support payments, the gradual diversion of funds to Nathan's accounts, his gambling losses documented through bank statements, the failed crypto investments. "This isn't personal," I explain. "This affects the hospital's integrity. Your donors trust that funds are allocated based on merit and need, not family connections." When I finish, the room sits in stunned silence. "What exactly are you hoping to achieve here, Miss Rivera?" the chair finally asks. The question surprises me. I hadn't thought beyond the revelation. Justice doesn't have to mean destruction. I say slowly, finding the words as I speak them. I'm willing to maintain my parents' mortgage payments, but directly to the bank, not through them or Nathan. The committee exchanges glances. My condition is 6 months of family therapy to address what any professional would recognize as golden child syndrome. The term falls easily from my lips after years of late-night research. As for Nathan, I continue, I won't provide direct financial support to him under any circumstances, and I expect complete transparency in all future hospital funding decisions. The committee chair nods, making notes. The hospital will be issuing a formal investigation announcement this afternoon. Dr. Rivera's medical license will be suspended pending review. I leave the meeting with steady steps, ignoring the whispers that follow me. The medical community is small. News travels fast. By tomorrow, everyone will know. My parents wait in a small conference room, faces aged by the day's revelations. Mother's eyes are red-rimmed, her makeup streaked. "We never saw you," she whispers, reaching for my hand. "How did we never see you?" Father stares at his clasped hands. "I pushed you away because I didn't understand you," he admits, voice rough. "Numbers and finance. It wasn't my world. Medicine made sense." "Love doesn't require diminishment," I tell them, the words surprising me with their clarity. "One person's light doesn't need another's shadow." Nathan's absence speaks volumes. His control over the family narrative has ended. "I was never jealous," I say quietly. "I was just unseen." 1 week later, my assistant forwards an email. Nathan's wife, Catherine, has filed for divorce, citing irreparable breakdown of trust. I'm not surprised. Catherine always struck me as someone who valued authenticity. My phone chimes with a text. Father's name appears on the screen. "We found something you should see." My finger hovers over the respond button. I hesitate. I stand at the window of my corner office at Graymont Capital, watching autumn leaves dance across the courtyard below. Sunlight glints off my wall of achievement awards, glass monuments to excellence that my family never acknowledged until now. Front and center sits a framed photo from last month's keynote at the National Finance Summit, where I addressed 3,000 industry leaders about ethical wealth management. The woman in that photo stands tall, shoulders back, gaze direct, nothing like the shadow who used to shrink beside service entrances. A gentle knock at my door pulls me from reflection. My assistant enters with an envelope bearing the Graymont seal. "It's official," she says, handing me the document. "The Rivera Foundation for Financial Empowerment. $5 million. My fingers trace the embossed letterhead. 1 year ago, exactly, I stood up in that ballroom and reclaimed my voice. Now I'm creating space for others to find theirs. The office intercom buzzes. "Miss Rivera, your parents are here for the gala preparations." I smooth my burgundy dress, tailored Armani that cost exactly what I decided it was worth, and head to the elevator. My parents wait in the lobby, looking smaller somehow. Mom fidgets with her simple gold necklace while Dad clutches a package wrapped in brown paper. "We found this in the attic," he says, his voice catching as he hands it to me. "We never displayed it. I'm sorry, Chelsea." I unwrap a framed photo from my college graduation. Honors cords drape my shoulders, my smile tentative as if unsure I deserve to be seen. "It's perfect timing," I say. "Tonight's about acknowledging everyone's journey." The ballroom of the Waldorf Astoria, the same one where Nathan's gala shattered our family illusions, now gleams with understated elegance. Instead of ostentatious flowers and crystal, student artwork and financial literacy installations create a space where accomplishment doesn't need to shout. I stand surrounded by 20 scholarship recipients, young financial minds who've written essays about feeling invisible within their own families. A distant relative approaches, eyes wide. "You're Chelsea Rivera?" "The Chelsea Rivera." The question echoes back to that night, when I was just the accountant one. I smile with calm acknowledgement, no longer needing her validation. My parents hang back, giving me space to shine, rather than rushing to claim credit. The room quiets as I approach the podium. "Visibility isn't about ego," I begin. "It's about fairness." Opening my journal, I read what I wrote this morning. "I spent 34 years trying to earn love. I thought family meant accepting less than I deserved. I confused support with submission. Now I know my worth isn't measured by their recognition. 8 months of therapy have transformed my parents. They attend their sessions faithfully, learning to see me clearly for perhaps the first time. I've established boundaries that protect without punishing. My professional recognition flourishes, but more importantly, my self-worth no longer depends on their approval. After my speech, a young woman approaches, clutching her finance degree. "My family thinks business school was a waste," she confesses. "They only respect medical degrees." I recognize the hurt behind her composed expression, the same pain I carried for decades. "Your path is valid even without their understanding," I tell her, offering the mentorship I never had. At the podium again, I feel centered in my power. My family sits in the audience, no longer defining my value. Nathan's letter of apology sits in my desk drawer, alongside documentation of the anonymous college fund I established for his children. Forgiveness without submission. I look across the faces of people who once felt invisible. I was never jealous, I say, my voice strong. I was just unseen, and now, I'm done living in anyone's shadow. The scholarship recipients rise in ovation, followed by the room. In the back, my parents stand, applauding with genuine pride. For the first time in my life, I smile without seeking approval. I am finally, completely free.